I'm James Mwangi Murithi, father to Caleb Joroge, the child next to me. Maybe my wife can introduce herself.
My name is Felista Wanjiko, or Mama Caleb.
Thank you. So, I wish to share with the world quite a number of issues concerning people living with disability. And I always have one principle where I always say we embrace ability in every soul. Embracing ability in every soul makes the life of people with a disability actually simple, and they're able to live with dignity, and they feel they have a position in society. What I would want to first say is this: these people living with disability need love, respect, and inclusion. They need to feel they are loved. They need to feel they are embraced in everything that is surrounding them. Reason being, there are so many terms that people apply when referring to them. And there's one parent who is under or living with such kind of a child. Today I would want to enlighten the world, to change the attitude, to change the words that normally we use toward these people. For example, now, if someone has a mental disability, if we are to refer to that someone, I would prefer a scenario where we don't say a person with a mental disability. Simply maybe use a word like someone who has a neurodiversity. The word neurodiversity now encompasses the challenges that probably that person is going through mentally. But when we say a person with mental disability, then that person feels like he's not even supposed or worth living. In the society, we still have people who walk or use wheelchairs. That is their daily life. They cannot make their ends without the wheelchair. There is that stigma that they normally go with them when someone says, you know, so and so is confined in a wheelchair. The word confinement makes those people feel out of the world. They don't feel loved. They feel like you have put them in a different class, which is not of a human being. So we still have now these kids that we're having, kids with autism, kids with cerebral palsy. I would beg the world to have them or to give them space, rather than using the words a child suffering from cerebral palsy, a child suffering from autism. We change and say this is a child, and a special child living with a condition. When you actually say a child living with a condition, it has a human face and someone who understands that someone needs care. So we only need to let them be heard, seen. We include them in whatever we do. That was my opening remarks, so that as we walk this journey, then we know whom are we talking about. And I would want still to request the world, let's not talk of people with disabilities. Let's talk of people with possibilities. And that's why I started by saying embracing all ability for every soul. Every soul, God has a purpose for every child. That child is empowered with a particular ability. So if you avoid seeing disability, you'll see the possibility of that child being a doctor, the possibility of that child being a special person in the society, because there are some abilities in that child. Remember, as much as they go through whatever they go through, they still have souls. They are souls that need to be taken care of. So welcome to Caleb's journey. Or maybe before I get to that, maybe I can allow the mother also to have an opening remark, so that we're able to walk the journey together. Mama Caleb.
Okay, thank you, Baba Caleb. On that note of the journey of Caleb. We really thank God for the far we have come. We have seen God, because it has not been easy, but we have seen through the God's grace, we have been able to overcome the challenge. Right now, the journey of Caleb is 13 years old, but he has overcome the challenge. Because right now, Caleb cannot walk or either sit or walk, but Caleb can coordinate through the facial impression. Caleb can, if you want to know Caleb is happy, Caleb can show through the moods of the eyes, and we normally coordinate with Caleb very well. We really love Caleb as a family. Caleb we have been supporting Caleb with my family. Every member of our family has been very supportive, including the dad, the brother, and the sister. Even the person who takes care of Caleb has been very supportive. So we really thank God for that. And we really thank God for Caleb. We really love Caleb as a family. So Baba Caleb can continue from there.
Very good. So thank you, Mama Caleb, for that addition. People living with disability normally go through quite a number of challenges. We have emotional challenges, we have social challenges, we have the limited access challenges, we still have the financial challenges, and then we have even the health complications. So before we get to that, let me start by giving the journey of Caleb, so that maybe the world can see that these kids need love, they need respect, and then they need to be given a human face, so that they are able to achieve whatever the God has purposed for them. So as the mother has said, Caleb is 13 years old. He was born on 1st of November 2013. Caleb was born a preterm, and again I wish to let the world know, today we don't love using the word premature. When you use the word premature child, it brings in another aspect of dehumanizing. So we are used to saying a preterm child. So the child never completed the 9 months term. So he came before the 9 months. So that's something that we always remember with the mother, that is a preterm. So when we are dealing with him, we know he's not like the other kids who completed their terms. So at day 10, when he was 10 days old, Caleb was diagnosed with jaundice, that is yellowing, either of the body or an element of yellowing. With Caleb, his yellowing was not the entire body, but his yellowing was noted through his eyes. So once we noted that, we rushed him to Gertrude Muthaiga. When we went to Gertrude Muthaiga, they realized that the boy needs an urgent and it was actually like an emergency, and we were referred to Kenyatta National Hospital. So when we went to Kenyatta National Hospital, Caleb was put under photo machine for 21 days, and therefore his bilirubin, the eyes now, they cleared the yellowing. He had developed the yellowing of the eyes because his bilirubin levels within the 10 days had gone too high, because we had not noted by birth or at birth that he had an internal jaundice. So after that, we started the journey at 10. So after getting out of the machine, we moved on with his life. But again, we still realized it's like he has a challenge. As you see him today, Caleb didn't breastfeed. He was actually put on nuns. He was not able to breastfeed because of those the challenges was going. Remember, he's 10 days, so he's away from the mother. He's in a machine you cannot remove him until the 21 days are over. So the mother used actually to provide him with very small amounts of breast milk, at least to make him survive. Remember, he cannot eat. This is a young child. So the mother did that for quite a number of days, around 21 days, and therefore the boy was able to recover. Today, his sight is back. Then from there, as we were moving on, we still realized that there are some challenges he's undergoing which was not really of a normal child. That's when we took him to Mama Lucy Kibaki, and at Mama Lucy, he was diagnosed to be to have developed the cerebral palsy. The doctor who assessed the child realized that the child, because of the bilirubin levels, it's like his brain has been affected. So immediately after that, he advised us to put the child under therapy, and we started that at Mama Lucy immediately. So the boy has been going through therapy since then, which has really helped improve his life. However, because of the situation he's in, and because of the fact that he cannot do anything on his own, according to whatever the doctor said, he said the brain part, the psychomotor part of his brain was affected by the jaundice, and that is why he's not able to sit or even lift his hand on his own, or even walk, or even speak. So the next best option was to put the child now under therapy, so that at least we could help the child do what? Improve on his psychomotor activities. So in essence, these kids have a human growth. The only challenge now is human development. What do I mean? If you check Caleb, Caleb is growing just like any other child. Height, whatever the body size, so the body is growing. He's actually almost the same size as kids of his age. But now, the challenge is develop the milestones. Achieving the milestones. For example, now, someone has to feed him. He cannot use his hands. That is already, he has not achieved his milestone. He cannot walk. He has not achieved that milestone of walking on his own. He cannot sit. But at the end of the day, they are slowly they develop. Slowly by slowly, they developed. That is one of the main challenges with these kids. As you can actually hear, he is coughing. It's not really that he's sick, but because of being immobile, the chest is ever wet because he's not able to cough. Like now, if you can get, he has just managed to cough. So these kids undergo a lot of challenge, and many other times when you just fight them, you take the child to bed, the following day you have lost the child. Why? Probably he was not able to remove that, and therefore it shocked him. And therefore, most of the times they lose their life through the problem is chest. Now, Caleb as he is now, the main problem is bronchopneumonia. Bronchopneumonia is a condition where these kids, most of them, undergo because of being immobile. Their chests are always cold. You find they are wet. Actually, we don't use the word, we say they are always wet. And therefore, the bronchitis, which are supposed to help the body get enough oxygen, they somehow get blocked by the mucus. That is the mucus we find is trying to get out. And because he's not able to do it because of the challenge, he has not achieved his milestones, then the chest is always wet. That is the condition the doctors, mostly in his medical report, they refer to as bronchopneumonia. So we have so many types of pneumonia, but specifically for kids living with cerebral palsy, this condition, they normally suffer from bronchopneumonia. So Caleb has been in and out of hospital many times, but little did we know that it is because of bronchopneumonia. So the year 2023, he really was in a very hard, he was in a very critical condition. 2023. So the year 2020, actually not 23, the year 2021, during Corona time. That is when he was in very critical condition. Remember, movements were very minimal, so even getting to medical facilities was an issue. In fact, many other times when we take him to hospital and the first test would be done is the corona test to ascertain that his respiratory system is not the way it was because of corona, but probably because of the inability to to cough and release the mucus. So 2022, in March, his condition worsened. So we rushed him to Medhill Hospital, Eastleigh. Now I think the facility has been amalgamated with Parklands. So we took him to medical, Eastleigh Medhill. When at Medhill, the doctor realized that the boy has a problem with breathing. Actually, he noted that very fast, that the boy has a problem with breathing. In fact, his oxidation levels were 58 against 90. The minimum is the oxidation levels are the levels of oxygen in your body. So his levels were around 58, but the minimum and the recommended one should be 92. Where it is worst, 85. So 85 makes most of the medics realize that the child could not be having enough oxygen. So Caleb was at 58. So the doctors realized he needed a very urgent intervention. He was hospitalized. He was hospitalized for almost, is it?
1 month.
1 month. Actually 1 month at Medhill. And actually it was not, he was in ICU. ICU for 1 month. He could not, his oxygen levels were so poor. Now, when he was in the ICU, what did they realize? What did the medics realize?
He was taken a CT scan.
He was taken a CT scan, and the CT scan reflected that, or indicated that 70% of his lungs were not working. So he was only working with 30%. And that is why now he was put under oxygen for 1 month. In the course of medication or treatment, the same doctor, Dr. Mahesh from Medhill Hospital, realized that this boy, even if he is given medication with that damage to the lungs, he actually advised a different direction. So he took us through counseling with the mother. Then at the end of the day, he now gave us the whatever the message he had for us. And I remember the doctor asking us, how would you take it if you are told this boy from now henceforth, he would be feeding on a feeding tube, whatever we normally call a peg? How would you take it? Initially, we declined because we could not get a true picture. And I'm very sure this is a challenge many parents are going through, accepting that this is what will happen. And then there are so many stereotypes and propagandas about the feeding through a feeding peg and all that. So initially we did not buy the idea from Dr. Mahesh. So at one point he released the boy, and he told us, okay, then let's try the antibiotics and see whether they will work. So the boy was discharged. After discharge, 16 days from discharge, it now became worse than even the way it was before. So we took him back to the same Dr. Mahesh. Now when we took him to Dr. Mahesh, then he told us we have to make a choice, because the next thing is we are going to lose the child. So at that point, we didn't have an option with the mom. We had to take the way the doctors advised. Truly, it has saved the life of this boy. So the boy we were advised, he has been put on a peg, so that when he's feeding, the upper part of his respiratory system is given some time to heal, so that the lungs are not affected by the bronchopneumonia. Because Why was the doctor advising us we use the feeding tube? This is the situation with the boy. We are saying kids or people living with disability, they have difficulty in development of milestones, development of organs. So Caleb, when he was feeding, there is a part which is supposed to cross the respiratory tube, the tract, the respiratory tract at the top. So, because he had not fully developed and he had a challenge, some food was getting through. Because he could not, I'm forgetting the name of but it has a medical term. So he was not able to block the respiratory system, so some food were getting into the lungs. But we didn't know for 9 good years that some food was actually trickling bit by bit into the lungs. That is now what affected his lungs. So when they are saying 70% of the lungs, it's simply because there is some particles of food particles which were getting inside the lungs. So the feeding tube now that he fit on today was actually necessitated by that. So what was the doctor's advice? We avoid the boy feeding through the mouth, because if he feeds through the mouth, that the lungs will totally collapse now. Even the 30% which is working will be affected, and therefore at the end of the day he may live totally on oxygen. So we bought the doctor's advice. Now the doctor told us the best place to go for that is Kenyatta National Hospital. So he did all the logistics. The doctor even called Kenyatta National Hospital. They even arranged for the transfer of the child from Medhill to Kenyatta National Hospital. So we took him from now Medhill is 3, we took him to Kenyatta National Hospital. When we took him to Kenyatta National Hospital, the medics, the pediatrics or the pediatrician at the other end confirmed what the fear of Dr. Mahesh from Medhill. That is now the doctor now at Kenyatta took over, and that is why you find the boy at one point you realize he feeds on a feeding peg. So that was in the month of so Caleb's journey towards the fixing of the tube was between March and August. Actually, he was discharged from Kenyatta in March on August 22nd, 2022, having been admitted on 16th of March. So it was quite a long journey for 6 months. The boy feeding, not really feeding through his mouth, feeding through the tube. The boy had oxygen. It was very, very expensive. It was very emotionally and traumatizing. And it's a challenge most of these parents are going through, parents with these special kids. We love calling them special kids because, like us as a couple, we have really learned a lot from them. We have really learned a lot from Caleb. In the spiritual realm, we have learned about humbleness. We humble ourselves. Everything that we find ourselves doing as a normal child or as a normal human being, we don't take it for granted. So God did something for one to be the way he is today. Speaking, you find it like normal. Picking a cup of tea, you take it to your mouth, you think it is very normal. Walking, having a child who has scrolled, having a child who is able even to babble some words, a child who is able now to take him or herself to toilet, a child who can call you mom, dad, I need this. So we have realized that we should not take those developments for granted. They really cost us as people living with kids with disability. So Caleb's journey has been like that. So as we speak now, he feeds on a peg. The peg has really made him develop. In fact, when he was being put the peg, he was 9 kgs. Then after the peg, as we speak now, he's ranging between 17 to 20 kg. So it is very clear that the peg has really helped the boy get to that level. What I would want to ask those people or parents with kids with disability, let's learn to accommodate the pediatricians. Let's learn to listen to the pediatricians. Let's avoid the stereotypes, the propagandas that we hear from outside. If you walk with a pediatrician, these kids finally achieve their goals. We have worked with a very good pediatrician from Kenyatta National Hospital called Dr. Sairak. Dr. Sairak has worked with Caleb. Even when we take him to hospital, just seeing him, he is able to tell. Even before doing any tests or anything, he is able to tell what the boy is suffering from. If maybe at one point we had denied him a particular thing he had advised us to do, he is able to tell. So I would request anyone living with a disability, with a person with a disability, we avoid the many things that will be said about these kids. We just embrace what our pediatricians and our medics are advising us to do. So Caleb fits on the tube, and that has been the journey up to that. Unless maybe the mom wants to add, because it's a long story, but we normally love making it short, because you can give hours and hours about his journey until the way he is today with a peg. Maybe mom can add.
Thank you, Baba Caleb. What I can add on top of what Baba Caleb has said is the challenges that we go through. These kids with disability, they normally use anti-conversion because of conversion. Like now Caleb uses 3 types of medicine, like Epilim, Rivotril, and clonazepam. So when you come to Epilim is quite expensive, and sometimes it's out of the market. So it is very traumatizing to the parent, even to the kid himself, because Caleb right now cannot do with that. Caleb must have medication in the morning and in the evening. When it comes to Epilim, it ranges from 25 to 3,000, because sometimes it's out of the market, and when it is available, sometimes it is expensive. When it comes to Rivotril is almost 1,200. When it comes to clonazepam, it's around 800 to 700, depending on the dosage. Right now, Caleb is on a higher dosage. Like now, Caleb uses 2 bottles every month, because Caleb uses 10 ml in the morning and 10 ml in the evening. When it comes to Caleb, he has been using Epilim for almost 12 years. And according to the doctor, Caleb cannot do without Epilim. When it comes to diapers, Caleb uses almost 10 diapers per day, because we want to keep the boy clean, we want to keep the boy good looking, and we really love Caleb. So we normally keep Caleb very clean. We changes Caleb diapers every now and then. So Caleb uses a lot of diapers. Like now, Caleb every month uses almost 7 packets of diapers, and one diapers it costs around 670, 690. So it has been really hard for us as parents, and that is the challenge that many parents go through. Those parents who have children with disability, they go a lot of hell, but we really thank God, because God has given us the power. God has been there for us. We have never lacked, but it has not been easy. So we are asking for the government, the NGOs, to come through for us as parents. And when they come through for us, the journey will be easier for us. We just want to have people who are going to help us through this journey, and we are going to make it. And we are more than conquerors, because God has been there for us. So Baba Caleb can take from journey and even the challenges that we have been going through.
Thank you, Mama Caleb. We love working as a couple because without that support for each other, things may be a bit difficult. I would want the world to know that why do many couples or many parents who have kids with a disability undergo a stigma? Many times when you share with maybe someone about your child, many are those who feel like you are looking for someone to sympathize with you. So what we need as people living with a disability or people having kids with disability, it's not really to pity for the kids, but to help them. In fact, we don't love being pitied. What we love most is you as a person. How can you come in to fill the gap? That is why now the mother is saying, if you have NGOs, if you have the government coming in, if you have different churches coming in, different other institutions, donors, they just chip in, not simply to help us with finances, but rather chip in so that these kids are able to achieve their goals, because they are kids just like others. And as I had said earlier, there are so many challenges that face couples with this, and I would want to share. As I said, first there is the emotional strain. Many are the people who judge. The world judges these kids as outcasts. So that is why you realize when you report that you have, or when your family members realize that you have a child with disability, many start developing an attitude. This one probably it's because of something that was not done culturally. Some even take kids to the village to have ceremonies done. Some even decide even not to let the world know that they have these kids with disability. Actually, the kids go through a lot. But what the worst part is, how does the world judge? How does the world judge people living with disability? That makes them develop emotional strains. And if you check many times, people living with disability, unless you understand them, many are those who look always gloomy. Why? They have their own emotional assessments. How do I look like? Why am I like this? Then here is the world now judging them. So those kind of judgments make them actually develop emotional strain. They have the social isolation. You realize, if for example now I take Caleb outside to go and maybe be with other kids, you find somehow they fear even coming near him. Why? Probably either they have picked what the society talks about people with disability, or they really cannot understand why is Caleb not like us? Why is not Caleb playing? So you realize they are actually secluded, and this makes them develop the stigma. Either the parents or even the person himself, they really develop the stigma. How does, socially, where are we? Many other times when they are excluded, either they cannot play a game, Caleb cannot maybe share with others. So that kind of a challenge is very common. Again, remember they have limited access. That's why, like if you check, Caleb is totally dependent on someone. So this one limits his access either to the toilet, access to anything that he may be in need of. Even we have some of them, like now those on wheelchairs, they have limited access to transport. In our society today, do we have transport vehicles or units of carriage that cater for people with living with a condition like those with wheelchairs? So when that someone thinks that you would want to have gone to a place and he is actually a wheelchair user, then that thing brings a stigma. How do I move from point A to point B? They are limited access to so many things. These kids are also limited to education. They don't access education easily. Reason being, we need there are kids who need special schools. These are kids who need special teachers who can understand them. These are kids who need special programs. So you realize they have limited access to education, limited access to transport, limited access to even employment opportunities. You realize many firms, many companies really do not embrace employment for these people living with disability. So at the end of the day, you realize they need a lot of care. They also have health complications. That is another challenge that is affecting 99% of families living with people with a disability. The health medication most of the times is very expensive. And as we had earlier said about Caleb, the feeding tube that we are talking about costs 39,000. Maybe if you have a Dr. Silak, probably he'll actually try procure for you at 29,000. The whole process of replacing that one at Kenyatta National Hospital normally goes at around 140,000 for a single day, because the doctor is around 80,000, maybe the hospital charges. So by the time you are leaving the hospital, you realize you are paying almost 200k. If there are other complications, now it becomes worse. So the whole of last year alone, 2024, because of the health complication, Caleb spent almost 1.8 million. It's not easy to get, especially for people without health covers. So without health covers, without access to employment, remember, most of the caregivers to these people, they never move out, they never go far away from them. Remember, these are people who need care. These are people who have limited access to things, so they need someone to take or to give care. So most of the caregivers are confined in homes so that they take care of this, and therefore you find when it comes to health, they are not able to get money to even buy the list of the doses, which cost very minimal amount. Sometimes it becomes difficult. That is one of the reasons why you find most of them end up losing their life. They actually end up looking like they are not like normal kids, because they are not able health-wise to be taken care of. Then you also realize the families with people with disability have financial pressure. They have to pay for their houses. They have other kids which are going to school. Remember, they have no room to get out to go and look for employment. They also have they need money for their medication, diapers. That one now is very expensive and very costly. Now, with all these challenges, because there are so many, if you go to every person with a child with a disability or with a person with a disability, you realize the experience and the testimonies are very different. So here we are maybe talking about Caleb. You go to another child with autism, that mother, that father gives a different story. You go to another person with someone on a wheelchair, the experience is different. Now, how do we get out of this? How do we help these people? That's why we need organizations to come in, chip in, the government to chip in, and that is why now, how do we support this kind of people living with disability? One is we listen to them and we involve them in decision making. Listening to them and involving them in decision making. We also now provide them with consistent emotional support. What do you mean by consistent emotional support? So that we try and encourage them on independence, try to encourage them to be like, now when Caleb has tried to do something, we always like, now his neck is still not stable, it is still floppy. So when he tries to lift the neck, we encourage the boy again. So you find the boy is getting encouraged. And again, we celebrate any win, like us as a family. We celebrate any win that Caleb makes. We celebrate any win that the doctor makes. What happens at the end of the day? We are able to support the kids emotionally. So if he's able, like he's very good in laughing, he's very good in when you make a gesture, you'll find. So we actually encourage them also. So we provide them with consistent emotional support. Then we make the homes, wherever these kids are, wherever these people are, let's make these homes the best environment for them. Let them feel that even if they are actually at home, they are with someone, they are with a caregiver. Let us as a society, as a world, make their the homes accessible. For example, now, when you are constructing a house, those of us who are blessed, when you are making your own house, have you ever thought of, suppose at one point in life, I get a visit for someone using a wheelchair. Have you developed a ramp for that person? Have you developed your house such that alongside the normal stairs, there are ramps for these people to use? Have you developed them the walk paths that can be used by someone living with a condition? When these people come to, for example, they come to your home and they find you had them in mind, they feel so good and they feel so happy. So let's develop them. We still, as a government, as institutions, have you ever thought of providing these people with visual aids? For example, now kids with therapy require so many expensive aids. We have the walking aids, we have the studying aids, we have the sitting aids. This thing must come from someone. This thing must come from someone who has love, who wants to support these people. And that is why we are embracing many organizations that are coming in to support this. Today we are proud of the organization normally called the Women, let me put it very clearly, Women, Youth and Persons with Disability Empowerment. We normally abbreviate it to WESI. WESI is an institution that has been giving food to families. They have been going to homes, visiting people living with disability. Today, they thought of visiting us, and we are proud of that. These are the institutions that we are calling for. I would, for example, the way forward, anytime such kind of an organization approaches you, maybe for support, they want you to give them just room to enlighten probably the world. I would pray that we give them support. Let them just have a room where they can just open them for them a window that they can use so that they're able to reach the world. WESI has been a very supportive institution. The other day they visited Kayore. Maybe those people in Kayore can actually attest to that. And they were able to get many support. Remember, as we said earlier, the caregivers are never able to move out of their homes. So they need someone who actually fills the gap. Like, even if the child is not feeding, what about the caregiver? So the caregiver needs someone to come and fill the gap. So that's why we appreciate WESI, because of coming in. They provide food, they provide diapers, they give even the emotional support to people living with disability. They give them hope, they encourage them. Actually, they let these people understand there is a future, no matter the condition they are living with, because actually we don't love calling it the way I see it. Because of the condition, they still give these kids the hope. So when we talk about people living with disability, the way forward is, for example, one, let's have government with a proper education curriculum. I am a teacher by profession, high school teacher. I teach at St. Anne's Girls, Jogoo Road. I'm one person as a teacher who come face to face with these kids every day. You come across them every day. So when you find them the abilities they have, then you only ask God at one point, who can come in and give a support system to this learner. The learner has all the abilities, but because of some certain challenges, then someone needs to come in and fill the gap. And that is why now Wesley is an institution, and I'm very sure in the month of July this year, they are arranging for a walk. I would request all institutions, especially learning institutions, principals, head teachers, banks, churches, well-wishers. Let's all come out in any way that God will assist you to help this organization pick and come up with a program for these kids. Now they are actually they have put up a walk. Remember, it is a way forward. As I said, what is the way forward? Wesley is coming in as an independent institution. It is non-governmental, but it is coming in to support create awareness. Now through the walk, many families will be able to understand, through the awareness, many families will be able to understand how life is and how they are supposed to cope with that. Through that awareness, they also want to raise funds to establish a therapy center. Now, as a person living with a child with disability, I would request every well-wisher, everyone, come in and support Wesley towards this noble goal. They want to raise funds through a walk so that they establish a therapy center. Through that center, there will be medication support. They want to introduce many of these drugs we are talking about. According to their mission and vision, they would want to establish an area where they would be able to get these drugs so that they are able to get that. Again, they intend to have a daycare for children and persons with different challenges. Remember, as I said earlier, one of the challenges is taking these kids to school. But if they have somewhere where someone will take care of them, then it may be very easy for those kids to just grow like any other child. Now, to support this program, we have various items. Mama Brian has been working with this organization for quite some time. Probably he has even gone for their seminars. We even have samples of whatever items she got from the seminar. The pen that I'm using, a very smart pen from Wesley. Maybe she can, we also have caps from the same organization, all aimed at trying to raise the fund. And as I've said, what is the aim of the institution? To create awareness to the public, everyone, the whole world. Raise funds to establish a therapy center where these kids will be getting support without racial discrimination all over, whatever corner one comes from. They also want to introduce medical support, daycare. So at the end of the day, we need to support the organization, and that's why I'm now requesting Mama Caleb, because she has been going for their orientation, she has been going for their workshops, maybe to highlight one of the various methods that the organization intends to use to raise the funds for the organization. Maybe Mama Caleb.
Thank you, Baba Caleb. Now, our merchandise, the things that we are going to be selling on that walk, and we are going to sell them in different institutions. They are capes blanket goes for one at 500 shillings. Umbrella 1500. Pens 200. Key holders 100. Mugs, cups, they are being sold one at 500 and lessons at 1000. We also have t-shirts. Some of them have collars and the others have their round necks. Each one of them goes at 1000. We also have wristbands. They also go at 100. We also have polo t-shirts. They go at 1500. Remember here we have round neck t-shirt and collar t-shirt. Round neck t-shirt goes for 1000 and the collar t-shirt goes for 1500. Then we have two categories of pens. There's some of them that goes for 200 and others at 100. We also have ladies umbrellas. The ones which are small in size, they are portable. We are able to put them in our handbags. We also sell them at 100. We have very beautiful bags, very beautiful umbrellas. And we also have our pay bill number. Our pay bill number is 22. The pay bill number is 22. It's 222-111. Sorry for that. 222-111. Account number is 5140. 5140. So we are praying that whenever we come to your institution, just give us we lean on your shoulders so that we can able to achieve our goal. We are aiming to raise funds, and our target is 20 million. Our target is 20 million so that we can able to establish a therapy center, and we'll also support our children with medication. We also intend to have a daycare. A daycare is where many parents can come and leave their children in that center, and the parent can able to go somewhere and look for something to feed the child. So we are asking for you guys to help us raise the funds. And we are also having a walk, as Baba Caleb has said. The walk will be at Nyayo Stadium. This time round we are doing it with the whole of Nairobi. Last year we had a walk, but we did it Embakasi Central, Embakasi constituency. But this time round we want to take it a bit further. We do it Nairobi, the whole of Nairobi. So we welcome all of you to come and partner with us, and God will bless you.
Thank you so much, Mama Karib, for chipping in. So as I come to a conclusion, I wish and pray that we all welcome and embrace the initiative of the WESI organization. And I trust and believe, why has WESI decided to come in? Because WESI has realized that people with disability are not asking for pity. Actually, what they're asking for is an opportunity, respect, and understanding. And that is why I appreciate the role being played by the organization, because it is coming in and speaking, and actually it has been the voice of the people living with disability. They have given them hope, they have given them a hearts that help, and finally, and the most beautiful part of WESI, they have given these people the heart that they need, the heart that includes them. It is an accommodating heart. How we wish that the whole world would embrace the WESI mission and vision, so that we achieve the goal of letting the people living with disability know that they are, and there are possibilities ahead of them. So on 12th July 2025, I welcome you all for that mega walk for WESI organization. Welcome all. Feel free, participate. Whatever God will give you for that day, feel free to contribute. If you not manage to buy any of the items, kindly just provide what you feel is worth the life of the people we are looking forward for, and Wesley is looking forward to get out of the life and challenges they are going through. Welcome all. God bless you.
Okay, thank you, our viewers and our listeners. We are praying God on that day you'll chip in for us, especially schools and even organization and institution. We are most welcome to make that day success, because without you guys we cannot make it on our own. So we need your support, and you come and you avail yourself in large numbers, and we will appreciate God for that. Let's give these kids a smile. Let's give Caleb a smile so that he can have strength to face tomorrow. We really thank God. Welcome all of you. Our pay bill number is 222-111, and then our account number is 5140 5140. Our account, if you want to contact us through that number that appears on your screen. Welcome all. God bless you.